NFL, you can make a documentary about this thing. But right now, he's going to Miami. Jeff Darlington is in Miami live with us on Path to the Draft. He's going to be a Dolphin. And the question, I guess, Jeff, as we move forward here is how is everything that played out last night now going to affect his NFL status and his NFL career?
That's a great question, Andrew. And as we deal with the fallout of this, we're trying to wrap our heads around exactly what this means to Laremy Tunsil's career here in Miami. Now, I have spoken with NFL spokesperson Brian McCarthy, who provided me with this explanation as it pertains to this line between college and the pros. And I'm just going to read you his statement. He said, whenever there is a conduct or behavior that involves a substance, the player can be referred for evaluation and potential entry into the substance of abuse program. The determinations are made by clinical professionals. The primary objective is to provide assistance to address any issues and give the player the best opportunity to succeed in the league. There is no discipline associated with transitioning into this program. Now, I did follow up with McCarthy to ask him, though, if actions in college can cause you to go before those clinicians to decide whether you will be entered into that program. McCarthy tells me, this is very important, yes, they can. So he will be referred to these clinicians potentially, and those clinicians will decide whether or not Tunsil will be in that program. This is a program, by the way, that was negotiated by the league and the NFLPA. So this is something that stands on the books. It's a joint program at this point. So we're going to have to see if he does enter that program, at which point it would be kind of one strike against him. Any strikes beyond that would lead to a 2-game fine, a 4-game fine, down the road to potentially suspension, Andrew.
And it should be noted last night, Tunsil was adamant that he did not fail drug tests of late at all at Ole Miss.
Correct.
So he says the video was something that was a couple of years old. Now, why, though, would the Dolphins, I guess, Jeff, we know he's a great player, but why do they feel comfortable after everything that was seemingly spiraling out of control last night to turn in that card at 13?
Well, let's start with this. I've had a number of conversations with people here at the Dolphins training facility, and I can tell you that everybody was on board with this pick. And I'm talking about Mike Tannenbaum, the vice president of football operations, Chris Greer, the general manager, the head coach, Adam Gase. And this is something in past years that has been an issue, the communication, the dissension. In this situation, though, all parties were on board with this. They feel like they got a guy that they know very well. Stu Weinstein, a name that you probably don't know, is a guy behind the scenes here who for decades has been the guy doing background checks on players at the scouting combine, long before this was something that other teams do. This is a guy who also signed off on Tunsil. The Dolphins believe that they are getting a guy that is not a problem. They believe instead that they are getting a guy who will be a starter on day one on their offensive line, Andrew.
And maybe inside at guard early on here for Laremy Tunsil,
That's
who was
correct.
certainly a tackle in college and an exceptional one as well when he was healthy and on the field. Thank you, Jeff Darlington. There is the video purportedly of Laremy Tunsil smoking marijuana, but there was also, as mentioned, screen grabs on Instagram purporting to show conversations with an Ole Miss staffer about money. Here's a statement from Kyle Campbell from Ole Miss, the associate AD. The university is aware of the reports from the NFL draft regarding Laremy Tunsil and potential NCAA violations. Like we do whenever an allegation is brought to our attention or a potential violation is self-discovered, we will aggressively investigate and fully cooperate with the NCAA and with the SEC. As I said, there will be documentaries made about Laremy Tunsil.